Chapter 9. A lesson from Pooh. The sun had dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden light over the 100-acre wood. The soft glow of twilight settled across the trees, and the air was filled with the quiet sounds of the forest winding down for the evening. It was peaceful, calm, the kind of peace that Christopher Robin hadn't felt in a long, long time. He sat beneath a large oak tree, watching as his friends laughed and played nearby. Tigger was bouncing around with boundless energy, trying to see how high he could leap, while Rabbit fussed over a few scattered leaves, muttering about keeping things tidy. Piglet was quietly gathering wildflowers, his tiny hands moving carefully, and Eeyore, as always, lay sprawled out on the grass, staring off into the distance with his usual gloom. Christopher smiled to himself, taking it all in. Being here in the 100-acre wood with his friends, it felt like coming home. But at the same time, he couldn't shake the heavy thoughts that tugged at his heart. He had responsibilities now. Work, a family, the endless cycle of things to be done. Could he still carry the magic of the 100-acre wood with him into the busy, grown-up world? As if sensing Christopher's thoughts, Pooh waddled over and plopped down beside him, his belly round and full from a recent pot of honey. He looked up at the sky, then back at Christopher, his face filled with quiet curiosity. "What are you thinking about, Christopher Robin?" Pooh asked, his voice gentle and soft. Christopher sighed, leaning back against the tree. "Oh, Pooh. I'm just thinking about everything I have to do when I leave. My job, my family, all the things that need my attention. It feels like I have so many responsibilities." Pooh blinked slowly, as if considering Christopher's words. "Responsibilities?" he asked, tilting his head. "Are they very important?" Christopher nodded. "Yes, Pooh, they are. But sometimes, I feel like I've been so focused on them that I've forgotten how to enjoy the simple things in life. Like being here, with all of you." Pooh sat quietly for a moment, then looked up at Christopher with his warm, honey-colored eyes. "I think I understand, Christopher Robin. But I also think that maybe, just maybe, you're doing too much. Sometimes, when you try to do too much, you forget to do nothing. And doing nothing often leads to the very best something, remember?" Christopher smiled, his heart swelling with nostalgia. "Yes, Pooh. I remember."
Pooh nodded, satisfied with this. "Good.
Because I think grown-ups need to remember that. You're very good at doing things, Christopher Robin, but sometimes it's nice to just be." Christopher felt a lump form in his throat. Pooh, in his simple, innocent way, had just put into words what he had been struggling to figure out. He had been so caught up in the busyness of his life that he had forgotten the joy of just being present, of enjoying the little moments. "You're right, Pooh," Christopher said softly. "I've been so busy with my responsibilities that I've forgotten to enjoy the things that really matter, like spending time with the people I love." Pooh smiled, his eyes twinkling with warmth. "Yes, and we love you, Christopher Robin. We'll always be here, even when you have to go back to your responsibilities." Just then, Tigger came bouncing over, landing with a soft boing beside them. "What's all this serious talk about, huh? You know what's better than responsibilities? Bouncing. Always works for me." Christopher laughed, shaking his head. "Not everything can be solved by bouncing, Tigger." Tigger puffed out his chest, grinning wide. "Well, it sure helps." Piglet, overhearing the conversation, came over with a handful of wildflowers. "I think it's okay to have responsibilities, Christopher Robin, but maybe you don't have to do everything all at once." Eeyore, who had been lying quietly in the grass, raised his head and added in his usual gloomy tone, "Responsibilities are fine, I guess. But they're not very fun. Then again, not much is." Christopher smiled at each of them, feeling the warmth of their words seep into his heart. They didn't fully understand the pressures of the grown-up world, but they understood something far more important: the need to balance responsibility with joy. The need to remember that life isn't just about getting things done, it's about being present for the moments that matter. "I think I've learned something important today," Christopher said, his voice full of quiet realization. "It's not about forgetting my responsibilities, but about finding a balance. Making sure I don't lose sight of what really matters, like being here with all of you." Pooh looked up at him, his eyes full of trust. That sounds like a very good idea, Christopher Robin. Tigger bounced up again, doing a quick somersault in the air. And whenever you're feeling too grown-up, just come back here. There's always time for bouncing in the 100-acre wood. Piglet nodded, holding up the wildflowers he had gathered. And we can always have more adventures. There's plenty more to explore. Eeyore sighed, though there was a small glimmer of happiness in his eyes. Well, I guess it's better to have adventures than not. Christopher laughed, feeling lighter than he had in a long time. His friends, in their own way, had reminded him of the most important lesson of all, that life wasn't just about doing. It was about being. About taking time to enjoy the little moments, to appreciate the people you love, and to remember that you can always come back to the 100-acre wood, no matter how far you go. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the woods, Christopher leaned back against the tree, feeling the cool breeze on his face. He looked around at his friends, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the love and wisdom they had given him. "Thank you, all of you," Christopher said quietly. "I'll carry this lesson with me, no matter where I go." Pooh smiled up at him, his face glowing in the soft light. "And we'll always be here when you need us, Christopher Robin. Always." As the stars began to twinkle in the sky, the 100-acre wood grew quiet, wrapping them all in a blanket of peace and contentment. Christopher knew that no matter what the future held, he would always have this place, this magical, wonderful place where imagination ruled and where the best adventures were born from doing nothing at all. And as he closed his eyes, feeling the love of his friends beside him, Christopher Robin knew that he had found the balance he had been searching for. Because in the end, life was about more than just responsibilities. It was about the moments of joy, the laughter of friends, and the quiet peace of simply being.